This video is proudly sponsored by myself. And if you want to help me reach my goal of 100,000 subscribers, this is a journey I've been on for 10 years now, please finally consider hitting that subscribe button. And as always, we don't do inflation here. Windows 11 Pro retail keys are still just $12.50 worldwide, also 10 years strong, and it can activate in all languages. So if you're interested, click the video description to purchase them. It was 2008 when GTA 4 was released, and GTA 4 brought us a more darker, grounded story, and it was all set in a beautifully crafted Liberty City that mirrored, of course, New York City, with that all of its grit and chaos that we know from the real thing. But well, it pushed storytelling forward, and the PC version fell a little bit short in comparison with the console versions, not only visually but also technically. So, in example, we had issues like low contrast lighting, we had washed out colors, broken depth of field, flickering textures. So for many, it didn't really feel like the next-gen experience Rockstar had promised for the PC. And yet, beneath the flaws was a gem waiting to shine with, of course, modding. So enter the modding community. We have seen it in so many games, also in GTA games, one of the most popular moddable games. And GTA 4 is one that somewhat got forgotten a bit. But over the years, a more passionate group of creators and modders just took it upon themselves to not just only fix GTA 4, but all the issues, but actually rebuild it into something that looked like it was a 2025 game now, of course. So now in 2025, that effort still is continuing with modding. And it has reached a new peak because now the iCEnhancer 4 has been released. And iCEnhancer 4 is a massive visual overhaul that pushes the game to levels that were once unimaginable. So in this video we're going to take a closer look at, first of all, why GTA 4 needed saving in the first place, apart from the technical issues. Also, how graphical mods like the EMB series that we know from so many games like Skyrim, Fallout, etc. And also iCEnhancer evolved over the past decade because, let's face it, this game is almost 20 years old from 2008. In just 2 years, it's 20 years old. And also how your ultimate setup can be in 2025 to get the best visuals of GTA 4. And how now Liberty City is not only graphically better, but actually feeling more immersive, more alive, and of course more beautiful than ever before. So let's revisit, in my opinion, one of the most misunderstood GTA series ever, GTA 4, definitely one of my favorite GTAs ever created. So let's look a little bit back at the initial issues that were there on the PC version when GTA 4 was dropped in 2008. And it was a pretty bold step forward because Rockstar stripped back the over-the-top chaos of GTA San Andreas and delivered something more grittier, more grounded with GTA 4. Of course, it had a completely new engine and a completely new framework. And Liberty City wasn't just some funny Saints Row-ish sandbox, it actually felt like a real place this time. We had crowded sidewalks, we had this moody lighting, ambient radio chatter from passing cars. It was finally a living, breathing reimagination of New York City. But then the PC release came and that's where things got a little bit messy. So console players actually enjoyed a pretty solid visual and gameplay good experience, but the PC port landed with a little bit of disappointment. So despite the promise of enhanced graphics, what players got was actually a lot worse than an upgrade because there was a broken depth of field and it was so insane that it blurred the entire screen instead of just the background. We had washed out colors, we had dull lighting. Maybe if you modded Skyrim, you know the effect known as Z fighting, and that happens where overlapping textures fight for space and lighting, and you have really weird flickering in the distance, and this was also something GTA 4 had trouble with. Also, we had a complete lack of bloom and atmospheric lighting. And of course the performance that choked even the most powerful rigs of that time. It was horribly optimized for PC. And with that, it didn't just look bad, but it also felt wrong because of that. Because it was completely missing the mood, completely missing the immersion and the cinematic tone that Rockstar actually aimed for. It was lost with all these technical shortcomings. Even some call it the worst PC port Rockstar ever made. So yeah, with that, the core of the game was never really the problem because You know, the story was a very mature, emotional story, starting with Nico Bellic, and this was the immigrant haunted by its past, trying to survive the American dream. But yeah, the technical shortcomings really didn't deliver justice to this amazing story. So the world of Liberty City deserved better, and that is where finally the famous modding community stepped in. Not just to tweak or enhance, but to actually rebuild what this game was supposed to be. They didn't want to wait for Rockstar for the patches who sometimes, yeah, because at that point I have to say PC gaming was pretty notorious for pirating still, and it seemed like a lot of publishers never really wanted to show love for the PC gaming at that time. So from simple texture replacements to advanced graphical overhauls, finally modders began crafting a version of GTA 4 that finally lived up to its potential. And then also, of course, like modders also always do, surpassing it. So what started as a frustration slowly evolved into one of the most dedicated, technically impressive community efforts in modern gaming. And in the center of it all, it was one of the first games that used the very famous ENB series. And this is a very popular modding framework that we all know from Bethesda games like Skyrim and Fallout. Alright, so fixing GTA 4 is not a matter of just installing a few texture packs, and this was done also by a very long decade of effort, so a very big community mission to completely transform this broken PC release into something that could stand proudly in 2025 since 2008. So the tool that started it all, it was the ENB series by Boris, and yeah, this is, like we all know, more than just a mod, because it lets players rewrite the entire game with the framework of ENB, so rendered lighting, shadows, bloom, all the stuff which was missing from the base engine. So from the first time now, Liberty City looks like it was meant to be. Cinematic, moody, alive, just like a gritty New York City. It's been done all very, very well. So this opened the floodgates for creators, and one in particular stood out. This was Haysam Keleni, and he's the developer behind the iCEnhancer mod. So, launched in 2011, iCEnhancer took ENB to a brand new level. Each version, from version 1 to version 3, layered in sharper textures, more realistic lighting, dynamic weathers, and also very good GPU optimizations, which was really, really needed for a very unoptimized game like GTA 4. But it wasn't until 2025, just a few weeks ago, that the modding world saw its biggest leap yet. That is when iCEnhancer 4 finally dropped, after a full decade in the making. And it's nothing short of stunning. We have physically based lighting for next-gen realism. This is an example done by modern games like Cyberpunk. We have 2 times faster shaders. We have reworked fog, clouds, trees, reflections, water, even blood effects, the whole pack, and full compatibility fixes for Windows 11. So how do you want to experience this version of GTA 4? So that brings us to the ultimate setup, and I have to say in 2025 there are 2 main ways to do this. In 2025 now we have 2 ways to enhance our GTA 4. I would say you can go on 2 different paths. Path A is going to be maximum realism, the best graphics, and that is via iCEnhancer 4. However, the big thing is this is a downgrade which is required for this. And path B, we have the enhanced vanilla edition, more like a completely edition with better textures, better stability, and you don't need to downgrade, which is of course important. So on path A, I would say the iCEnhancer is the full experience regarding graphics. This is what makes GTA 4 looks like the modern remaster we want. However, to do this, you need to downgrade your game to patch 1.0.3.0 or 1.0.4.0 because the ENB series don't work on the newer complete editions. So this takes a little bit of a manual setup, a little bit of a downgrade, how-to, but in return you unlock the most visually advanced version of Liberty City ever created. So what can you expect? Amazing lighting, very realistic day and night transitions, atmospheric fog, reflections, HD textures, and visuals that honestly give, I would say, almost a bit of GTA 6 vibes, and that's very a great achievement from a game which dates back from 2008. So this, I would say, is the main path for players who want to have the true best graphics for the game. However, there's also the Part B, so the Enhanced Vanilla, which is the complete edition plus stability mods. And this is if you prefer a more smoother, simpler setup, this is then for you. So you keep the latest patch and focus on performance, stability, and quality of life fixes. So we're going to start in that case with something called Fusion Fix, and this is essential for fixing broken depth of field and the Z fighting that we mentioned earlier, also improving shadows and rain effects, and adding a mod loader and in-game configuration menus. Then also we have Zolika patch, and this will add frame rate unlocking, so for higher frame rates than 60 FPS, better controller support for the ones who love to play with controllers, and tons of hidden fixes from memory management to crash prevention and all the bad stuff that GTA 4 was suffering from. And last but not least, that's DXVK, and this replaces the very old DirectX 9 backend with the Vulkan APU, and this will dramatically improve performance on modern GPUs. And then you can also fine-tune your setup with ini tweaks to raise RAM usage, launch options, and launch options to, an example, have better VRAM handling, and if you want, lightweight ENB presets or reshade filters to add that extra polish. So this pod won't look quite as jaw-dropping as iCEnhancer 4, but is definitely more stable. So how to do this stuff, I will make sure to create links to the tutorials, because this video is going to be a little bit too long if I also would explain it here. But if you want me to create a video tutorial on specifically how to do that, I will of course happily be for you to create those. So system requirements, these are very, very low. I mean, this game is very old, but I would say keep in mind if you're going with something like iCEnhancer and 4K textures, then I would say at least an RTX 3070 or higher is going to be needed, but nowadays those GPUs are somewhat mid-end. So that's really, this game can look absolutely great, but you don't need like a super high-end PC for it. So whether you want to go with full realism, best graphics, then go of course with iCEnhancer 4. This is my recommendation, but if you really for some reason want to have the latest version, you can go the second route. There are multiple ways to get your GTA 4 looking stunning, looking amazing. So it's up to you, but definitely check out iCEnhancer 4. I think it looks absolutely amazing. As the world looks ahead to GTA 6 and millions still roam the streets of GTA 5, of course, it's still a very popular game, it is easy to forget the game that bridged the gap between the old GTAs and the more newer one, the one that changed everything in my opinion, and that is GTA 4. So GTA 4 did not just bring a new city, new story, new character, it gave us, I would say, a very glimpse to the modern GTAs with the more modern engine, character physics, weapon physics, and also Nico Bellic's story wasn't about power fantasies or something. This was about true life, true regrets, loyalty, and survival in a city that didn't care if you were made or not. So this was less fiction, I would say, and more realistic, as far as you can name it realistic. But for years, that story was trapped behind the technical flaws on the PC version. And now with the thing is that the PC gamers have to wait for GTA 6 still. With something like GTA 4 with iCEnhancer 4, this game just looks amazing to play again. And then, once you're finished, hopefully Rockstar will release it for PC after a year or two. Then you can enjoy, of course, GTA 6. But for the meantime, enjoy GTA 4, especially if you never played it, because it was such an amazing game. And especially with something like iCEnhancer 4, this is something that truly for you will feel like a brand new GTA that you always have been missing out. So thank you very much for watching. Check the links in the video description for the tutorials on how to install iCEnhancer or the other version, and then hope to see you at one of my next videos.